Deep in the central plateau of Angola, in a remote region characterized by the Miombo woodland, lives a special and almost mythological creature, the giant sable antelope. With its long curved horns that can reach 1.5 meters in length, the giant sable is considered one of Africa's most magnificent antelopes.
Em Angola toda a gente sabe o que é a palanca negra gigante, ou ouve falar na palanca negra gigante, mas não sabe bem o que é a palanca negra gigante.
But after 27 years of civil war, it is also one of its most endangered.
Toda a gente relaciona, toda a gente sabe perfeitamente que existe, que aqui é o nosso símbolo, mas pouca informação concreta existe.
Born in Angola, Pedro Vaz Pinto left for Portugal with his family at an early age. Having completed his degree in biology, he returned to Angola to work in wildlife conservation. When he inquired about the fate of the giant sable, to his surprise, there was virtually no information about its situation.
Tão poucas pessoas estavam de facto envolvidas com a palanca. Para mim era um apelo irresistível, e quando comecei a saber mais sobre a palanca, comecei a ficar cada vez mais envolvido. Então começou primeiro aos poucos e depois foi uma avalanche. Não sabemos se vai dar para passar o rio Maúpe para entrar no parque. Vamos tentar. Senão vai ter que ser a pé. O projeto começou com um objetivo muito científico, ou seja, que eu pretendia inicialmente que tivesse o seu enfoque na área de investigação. Infelizmente, e dado a ausência de medidas de proteção no terreno, o projeto foi obrigado, entre aspas, a ocupar esse vazio, de forma que as principais atividades do projeto, eu diria que hoje em dia, são mesmo de auxílio ao governo, no sentido de assegurar medidas de proteção básica. Se nós não conseguirmos evitar que a palanca desapareça e que ela seja caçada, que é a principal ameaça sobre a palanca, então não faz sentido tudo o resto. Portanto, essa é a prioridade número
1. In 2003, Pedro launched the Giant Sable Conservation Project through the Scientific Research Center of the Catholic University of Angola. Set out on his first excursion to the Kangandala National Park in the central province of Malange. Established in 1963 by the colonial regime, it is one of only 2 parks in the world where the giant sable had once lived. Pedro was devastated by what he found. The damage was extensive. Little of the infrastructure in the park remained standing, and more critically, poaching was rampant.
Logo que a guerra acabou e quando começaram a estar criadas as mínimas condições de segurança, nós começámos imediatamente a pensar, e eu comecei na altura, a ver como é que era possível chegar às áreas da palanca para tentar saber qual era a situação real da palanca.
With the help of the local community, Pedro began recuperating the camp at Kangandala. He re-established the Giant Sable Shepherd program, recruiting and training local community members to become park rangers, promoting the ancient local tradition of protecting this sacred animal.
Ok,
If anyone could help him find these animals, it would be the people who have shared the sable's habitat for centuries. The first attempts to locate the animals on foot failed to produce hard evidence. If alive, the giant sables were even scarcer and more elusive than ever before.
I'm going to leave it taking pictures day and night, and I'm going to put it lower than usual, so I'll catch anything that comes closer.
A new tactic is necessary. In 2004, supported in part by an American conservation fund, Pedro installs camera traps at salt licks found by the shepherds, where they had claimed sables were regular visitors.
Ok, anda mais pouco para lá.
Triggered by infrared beams, these cameras will record anything that crosses their path. Assisting Pedro in the Sable Conservation Project is biologist Sandy Batista, who joined soon after having completed her studies in biology.
Este tipo de mata de floresta, a grosso modo, chama-se o miombo. Miombo ou mata de panda. É um tipo de floresta que se desenvolve em solos bastante pobres, solos muito ácidos, muito lixiviados, e é um tipo de floresta, mata que se encontra espalhado por grande parte de Angola. Contudo, aqui na área de Malange, na área da Palanca, por alguma razão que não está totalmente bem compreendida, que pode ter a ver com a alternância entre a floresta de miombo e chanas, e talvez seja essa a razão porque a palanca apenas ocorre nesta zona. É importante e é curioso que é um ecossistema onde a densidade animal é muito baixa, mas onde a palanca encontra as suas condições ideais. Portanto, a palanca é mais abundante onde há menos animais, curiosamente.
Success finally comes in 2005, when one of the trap cameras finally provides Pedro with the first giant sable images in more than 20 years. Irrefutable evidence that at least one small herd has survived. From the photographs, the team can identify several brown giant sable females, some calves, and 2 young bulls. The photographs, however, do not reveal any adult males, but Pedro deduces from the presence of the calves that at least one must have survived. With news of the discovery of the giant sable, Pedro's project gains new momentum. Urged by President Eduardo dos Santos, a memorandum of understanding is signed between the Catholic University of Angola, the provincial government of Malange, and the Ministry of Environment. More importantly, private companies join the effort to protect the giant sable, with the oil sector leading the way as the main contributors. Esso, ExxonMobil's affiliate in Angola, becomes the primary corporate sponsor and project partner, with further support granted by the Angola LNG project, Chevron, the German donor agency GTZ, and Unitel. Pedro's effort is also recognized internationally. In 2006, Princess Anne presents the project with the prestigious Whitley Conservation Award at the Royal Geographical Society in London. The old film cameras are replaced with digital cameras, more energy efficient and no longer dependent on the roll of film. They record hundreds of pictures onto flashcards, immediately downloadable for viewing.
Nós, neste momento, já temos 13 câmaras a funcionar, espalhadas por todo o parque, e eu posso dizer que todos os animais que se desloquem às salinas são sistematicamente registados e fotografados, e nós temos já um registro de tal forma pormenorizado que é isso que nos permite saber de facto o que é que está a acontecer e conhecer os animais todos individualmente. todos os meses conseguimos obter uma média de 500, entre 500 a 2000 fotografias com animais, das quais se calhar uns 20% corresponde a palancas. Não apareceu nada. Isto deve ser do total do dia 20. Nada. Ai, o que foi? Estava ali qualquer coisa. Acho que era um galo. Yeah. Um facocheiro. Está ali. Mas mesmo afastado da... Vamos ver se mal o facocheiro. Ai, caramba! Eita, está bonito esse macho. O gajo olhar para a câmera, está desconfiado. Ei, já cá estão, olha as palancas. Olha as híbridas todas. Tudo híbrido, tudo porcaria aqui.
This new technology opens up a new world for the conservation project, but it also begins to reveal an increasingly bleak picture. As the photographic record expands, a shocking and unexpected reality becomes clear. Unprecedentedly, in the absence of a sable bull, the last surviving sable cows in Kangandala are producing hybrid calves with a roan antelope bull. The majestic giant sable antelopes are slowly being transformed into a new hybrid species of long-eared mongrel antelopes. As if this shocking discovery isn't enough, the two young giant sable bulls initially identified in the first photographs all of a sudden disappear. With no sable bull in the park, Pedro knows that without outside intervention, the Kangandala sable population is doomed to extinction. The last hope for the species now lies in the only other place the giant sable was known to occur, the remote Luandu Strict Reserve, the land between two rivers. Pedro has no illusion that his chances of finding a sable bull in the Luandu Reserve now are slim. Poaching in the area is out of control, and results from the camera traps he installed in the reserve over the last 2 years had been disappointing.
Os resultados que nos permitimos obter até aqui não são de todo para nos deixar descansados. Nós não estamos a encontrar as manadas que nos tinha sido dado a entender que pudessem existir lá. Estamos bastante preocupados com a situação no Luando e vamos tentar este ano ainda, se possível, localizar bem algumas manadas de palanca que possam até partir daí o fruto para ajudar a recuperar a população do santuário da Kangandala e eventualmente também para salvar a palanca no seu todo.
Pedro is no stranger to the park. In 2004, he had tried to locate a surviving herd in the vast reserve from the air, using microlight aircraft, an attempt that had nearly cost him his life when the small aircraft crashed.
Mayday, Peter, we got a problem, we're going down. Peter, we're going down.
Okay, I'll come and get your coordinates.
Okay, we're going down now, Peter, we're going down.
Miraculously, both Pedro and the pilot walked away unscathed. Undeterred, in 2008, he managed to bring a pair of four-wheel drive diesel quad bikes into the park on a makeshift raft, which he since uses to check the trap cameras in the Luandu Reserve. Pedro meets the local administrator at the Luandu River crossing, arrangements have been made to get his supplies to the village of Kapunda, where the quad bikes are kept. As if the challenge is already not daunting enough, the Luandu Reserve is 10 times larger than Kangandala, almost 1 million hectares, and literally inaccessible. Every single bridge has been destroyed during the war, and the roads have long since disintegrated. Before the war, this village had been a busy local trading centre, but now, without the bridge, it lies forgotten. For Pedro, this is just the beginning of his journey. His destination is Kibango, 50 kilometers further south. "40 years ago, numerous large herds of giant sables lived in the area of Kibango, where they had been the subject of an extensive study by an American biologist. Dr. Richard Estes arrived in Kibango with his wife Rooney in 1969 to spend a full year studying the giant sables, whose behavior was still largely unknown. At that time, the sable population was estimated to be somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 animals. The couple was based just outside the village, from where they were within easy reach of the areas where sables could be found. To assist them in their studies, they hired a teenage boy by the name of Sakaya, who they later encouraged to join the Sable Shepherd program.
The only expectation we had was that we were going into a place in the reserve where there were habituated herds of giant sable that we were going to be able to go out and observe, rather than just looking everywhere to try to find them. So it happened that the warden, João Alves, who was a commissioner in Kibango, but also the warden, he had been keeping track of them. So we had found was a very good setup that made it possible for us to start immediately observing the giant sable.
Richard Estes managed to capture on film rare images of the sable herds. To this day, his record of giant sable behavior is unequaled. On their departure in 1970, the Estes could not have predicted that war would soon engulf Angola, following the country's independence from Portuguese colonial rule in 1975, and that these gentle antelopes they had so patiently studied would almost completely disappear.
Conhecem esse? Vai para lá para frente.
Once again, the news is disturbing. The data collected from the local trap cameras reveal the presence of roan, where the giant sables once grazed. Still, Pedro cannot accept that not even a single giant sable has survived somewhere in this vast reserve. He begins to consider the possibility that a small herd may have perhaps migrated elsewhere. With rivers on both sides and growing human encroachment in the south of the reserve, there is only one place they could have possibly gone. Pedro knows he is clutching at straws, but to verify his theory, he heads back past Kapunda and on to Palanca, well over 100 kilometers away. As this is not traditional sable habitat, Pedro has never been this far north, and no trap cameras have ever been installed in the area. However, his hunch begins to pay off when he meets some of the surviving sable shepherds. They have courageously continued to keep track of the sables without pay throughout the Civil War and up to the present. One of them, Sakaya, is the ranger who had worked for Richard Estes as a teenager. He confirms having seen giant sables in the vicinity of the village.
Aqui sempre existe mesmo branca, preta, vermelha, brocária, mas tem, mas é normal, não compete qualquer. Macho.
Costuma ver mesmo
na vista, na nossa vista. Não ouvi dizer assim, não.
Dizer mentira.
Pedro is cautious not to let his hopes get too high yet. Over the years, he has heard endless rumors of sable sightings.
Aqui são os ferros da palanca. Eles meteu aqui a pata. Tem talvez uma semana.
This time, there are indeed traces of the recent presence of an antelope herd. The small heart-shaped hoofprint is typical of the giant sable. Pedro collects dung samples for DNA confirmation. Unbeknownst to him, these samples would soon provide the key to possibly saving the giant sable. That evening, the shepherds relate some of their experiences of when civil war erupted and spread into the giant sable region.
O Xavimbi, quando as tropas dele veio, tinha de se encontrar aqui na aldeia. E ele veio secou mesmo assim, com uma trucada. A gente aí mal atrás já conosco. Cansei mesmo nas mangueiras. Bom, eu pedi, desculpa muito, estou me emprestado, vou fazer ainda menor. Depois eu retiro já, aí foi fazer menor, pronto. Comecei também a gastar,
Foste na mata?
Foi mesmo na mata, atravessar no rio, nem pensar mais em canoa.
É nadar?
É tarde. Nem contar mais da família, pronto, eu de tirar lá mesmo.
E assim escapaste?
Like so many other parks in Angola, the Luandu Reserve had become a no-man's land, with generalized wildlife poaching occurring to feed hungry troops. Animals of all kinds, including giant sable antelopes, were indiscriminately killed by hungry people all over the country, as human populations struggled to survive.
O resto da tropa, o trabalho dele sempre é matar. Sim.
Faz as malas da carne. Sempre vai no quartel comer.
Parece-me bastante evidente, né? Isso não há qualquer dúvida, que a guerra teve um impacto muito negativo sobre todas as populações animais e a palanca não foi exceção. Portanto, esperanças que pudesse haver de que a palanca negra gigante, sendo um símbolo, de certa forma, a proteger-se mais. Infelizmente, os dados que estamos a recolher no terreno não nos levam a aceitar isso. Os dados preliminares terá tido uma redução na ordem dos 90%. Portanto, nós teremos ficado reduzidos a cerca de 10% da população que outrora existia da palanca. Posso dizer a população por volta dos anos de 1980. Em 1980 teríamos talvez cerca de 2.000 palancas negras gigantes E no fim da guerra eu penso que esse número estaria nas 200. A situação na Cangandala é de tal forma desesperada e temos tão poucos animais sobreviventes que foi delineado um plano, e esse plano passa pela construção de um santuário vedado no Parque da Cangandala e de uma ambiciosa operação de captura de palancas que nós vamos realizar no Cacimbo, entre o mês de julho e agosto, na qual virá um helicóptero, e nós iremos tentar isolar o maior número possível de animais e colocá-los dentro do santuário, tentar salvar esse último núcleo reprodutor da palanca no Parque da Cangandala. O sucesso dessa ação estará ligado à sobrevivência ou não da palanca na Cangandala.
With funding from the Angolan Ministry of Environment, work starts on 8 kilometers of perimeter fencing. The sanctuary will be large enough to sustain the herd, yet small enough for biologists to monitor the animals. Unlike many African antelopes, sables will not jump a fence, but attempt to burrow under it. Special attention is given to anchoring the posts. With the sanctuary complete, only the final touches remain to make the perimeter more visible to the animals, to prevent them from running into it, possibly injuring or even killing themselves.
Entre o dia 22 e o dia 15, toda a gente disponível e depois nós vamos organizar como é que é durante as capturas, né? Sim. Até lá vai sendo de acordo com a distribuição do trabalho que tem. Uma tarefa é das queimadas, né? Já falamos. Né? Entre o ombro e o cuco tem que queimar tudo. As áreas podem queimar à vontade. Não, né? O vosso futuro também vai estar em jogo aí. Né?
Pedro instructs the shepherds to burn some of the brush in the sanctuary, emphasizing the importance of this operation to the local community. Created to protect the giant sables, the park will be closed permanently if the project fails.
É por isso que a gente está a fazer este esforço grande. Se este esforço não resulta, não sei mais o que a gente pode fazer aqui na Cangandala.
Burning the brush at the beginning of the dry season is an annual tradition all over Africa. Originally a natural occurrence when lightning set fire to the veldt. Today they are set on purpose to burn off the old grass and leave the ground open for new growth. By burning some of the brush inside the sanctuary, Pedro is ensuring a future food supply for the enclosed herd. On hand for the capture operation is Dr. Richard Estes, now 82, who studied the giant sable in the Luandu Reserve 40 years ago, as well as Professor Jeremy Anderson, head of the Antelope Specialist Group. They are soon joined by the aerial capture team, pilot Barney O'Hara with his specially equipped Hughes 500 helicopter, and the highly experienced veterinarian Dr. Peter Morkel, both specialists in the translocation of animals. Peter's first preoccupation is to inspect the sanctuary. He improves the fence by rounding the sharp corners and adding to its visibility.
Os animais, quando veem uma barreira, ele pode ter a tendência de apanhar balanço, saltar e galope, né? Então é pior, né? Tem muito espaço e a vegetação já está a ficar assim.
A boma, a smaller temporary cloth-draped holding enclosure, is also constructed within the sanctuary. Built to Peter's specifications, The design allows a space for the animals to hide and feel safe when the entrance is opened by the capture team. This area will receive the animals and will allow them to be observed and habituated before being released into their new home. Pedro's first challenge is to dart and place a radio collar on one of the hybrid females in Kangandala. In theory, she will then lead the team to the herd of pure females. The 6 years spent collecting data from the trap cameras pays off, and Pedro quickly locates the herd. Even from the air, the hybrid's long ears and short horns are a dead giveaway. Once an animal has been singled out, Peter must calculate the critical dosage based on its estimated size. Too much tranquilizer can kill the animal, and not enough will endanger the team when they handle the antelope. To coax the animal away from the herd into open ground necessary for the veterinarian to have a clean shot, pilot Barney O'Hara must skim just meters above the treetops. One false move can spell disaster. Once the animal goes down, the pilot marks the position on his GPS and finds a safe place to land. The team approaches the animal cautiously to minimize stress. Although the tranquilizer leaves the Sable sedated and unable to move, the animal remains conscious. Forever the scientist, Pedro still takes time to count the rings, part of a study he is doing to establish the possibility of determining age by the number of rings. Finally, the all-important radio collar is fitted. It will transmit a signal the team will later be able to track. This hybrid female is nicknamed Judy by the capture team, after the biblical figure of Judas who betrayed Christ, in the hope that she will lead the team to the other females. Just as predicted, Judy, the hybrid female with the radio collar, leads the team directly to the herd. Peter identifies a pure female and prepares the dart with delicate care. He knows that the slightest needle prick can kill him in minutes. As he has done countless times, Barney guides the animals towards open ground and positions the aircraft for the shot. Because it is still conscious, the blindfold will minimize the animal's stress at being handled, and later when it is in the air. As strange and unnatural as it may appear, airlifting wild animals by their strong legs has been proven to be the safest, quickest, and most efficient method of translocating them. The method, perfected by Peter, prevents animals from suffocating and lessens pressure on their lungs. Most importantly, animals can be secured in minutes, thereby minimizing the time they are sedated. Barney returns to collect Peter and Pedro, leaving Jeremy to oversee the tranquilized female. Boosted by the speed and complete success of their first translocation, the capture team heads off to find a second, pure female. Led by the radio signal, Pedro quickly identifies another pure cow. As they get closer, the team realizes this one has a hybrid offspring. In the open Anyara, she is quickly darted, but much to the team's surprise, the young hybrid remains close, keeping watch over her mother. With the species poised on the brink of extinction, there is unfortunately little room for emotions. If they are to save the giant sable, only pure antelopes can be brought into the sanctuary. The hybrids must be kept out. The effect of the tranquilizer on the first female is rapidly wearing off. Peter must act quickly. He has but minutes to examine them for any injuries, tag them, and administer anti-parasitical injections.
For me, I've been here 4 times to look for this, to see the sable with Pedro and working on this thing. And the first sable I see is coming in, hanging upside down from an aircraft. I mean, I was blown away. You know, so it was just amazing. The whole experience has been a sort of high point in my life.
Over the course of the following week, the team successfully captures the 7 remaining pure female giant sables in Kangandala and airlifts them into the sanctuary. Although all relatively old, the cows are in excellent physical condition. The timing could not have been better, as this is the traditional mating time for giant sables. If a bull can be found, the park could have at least 7 new pure sable calves next year.
Eu ainda estou à espera do dia para que vou ver um macho adulto, um macho velho com aquela cor preta e uns cornos grandes. Essa ainda não está cumprido, essa parte ainda falta, mas eu sei que vou lá chegar.
From the air, Barney points out the watering hole with footpaths leading to it, a choice location to set traps.
Go around.
You see the wire.
Yeah. It's nasty. You better cut it. Okay. Done. I don't know if it's gonna fly. Put it in the green stuff. Better cut it.
See the cross stick there?
Okay.
Although not specifically meant to catch giant sables, snares do not discriminate. An antelope caught in one of these will have one of its legs pulled into the air. Unable to break free, it will remain alive, suffering for days. It is a cruel but efficient trap, for a dead animal would rot before the hunters returned. Everywhere, there are signs that the hunters left in a hurry and could very well be hiding nearby. The team must act quickly. At the camp itself, the team finds the drying racks, a macabre testimony to the efficiency of their methods.
Okay, so we've got a bicycle.
Because they might recognize some clothes or something.
Everyone is shocked by what they see. It is a harsh reminder of how the survival of Angola's national symbol hangs by a thread.
They probably use a piece of electrical conduiting or whatever that's 12 gauge, and they can use it as a handmade weapon.
Oh, you know what that is? It's ball bearings for their bicycle.
Probably to transport the meat out of here, because that's a lot of meat.
Infelizmente, e após o final da guerra, a tendência não se inverteu. Há uma demora na recuperação das populações animais e isso explica-se em grande medida pelo facto das armas continuarem, durante algum tempo após o final da guerra, continuavam espalhadas pelo território e até se calhar usadas ainda mais sobre os animais, uma vez que já não havia guerra. Aliás, o Soba da Cangandala uma vez disse com alguma acuidade que a guerra acabou para os homens, mas começou agora para os animais, quando se referia logo após o final da guerra que os tiros agora eram todos sobretudo dirigidos sobre os animais. A caça furtiva é de facto a razão pela qual a população animal da palanca negra gigante claudicou e teve uma diminuição espantosa. E chegámos ao ponto em termos apenas alguns animais sobreviventes na Cangandala. Quando uma população animal chega a números tão baixos, ela fica sujeita a diversos tipos de ameaças que nunca seriam uma ameaça a uma população normal. Pode ser, por exemplo, uma enfermidade, uma doença, podem ser uma parasitose que numa condição normal de uma população apenas causa alguma mortalidade, mas se temos só 5 ou 6 animais, pode significar a extinção.
Bolstered by the success of the female capture, Pedro turns his attention to the challenge of finding a pure sable bull somewhere in the vastness of the Luandu Reserve, without which he knows he has no chance of saving the species. The capture team heads back across the Kwanza River, deep into the reserve, to where Pedro had found the dung samples. Unbelievably, within minutes, Barney spots a dark shadow standing still in the Miombo woodland. The jet black coat and majestic scimitar horns are unmistakable. A giant sable bull. Like the cows, he must steer it into open ground, but the male is considerably faster. For a while he defies even the agile Hughes 500. But the majestic bull is no match for an experienced capture team. In minutes, Peter's dart finds its mark. To the team's surprise, the bull continues a considerable distance in spite of the tranquilizer. Although gentle in nature, sable bulls can become quite aggressive when feeling threatened and will not hesitate to use their mighty horns.
Okay, what do we want to do?
Sorry? I guess 7 years. 7-year-old, I guess. Okay.
The animal's horns have been painted red to facilitate identification from helicopters.
It is a beautiful animal. Eh? Maybe the neck is thicker. What do you think? No. Yeah.
But the actual height and stuff, I don't think.
It looks more exaggerated. The proportions, isn't it? Thicker in front and weaker in the back.
Pedro is elated. Can it be that his dream is finally within reach?
This is a special day, yeah?
Sure.
I can't believe this.
That's why when I walked up to him, I can't touch this. Pedro, you come and touch it first. I don't want to touch it, a little cheeky.
with relative certainty that they can now locate the male again, Pedro must find a way to bring the 300-kilogram bull from one park to the other. Although perfect for capture and short transfers, the Hughes 500 does not have the range to fly 100 kilometers to the Luandu Reserve, capture the bull, and return to Kangandala. The solution is to catch the bull with the smaller, more agile Hughes and then ferry it in a larger transport helicopter. For this part of the operation, Pedro has obtained the support of the Angolan Air Force, who provide a massive Russian Mi-8 transport helicopter. Pedro meets with the rest of the capture team in Kunga Palanka, the staging area for the male translocation operation. Peter is especially concerned whether the cargo bay can comfortably accommodate a giant sable bull. The local population is uneasy about the sable being removed from their province, but Pedro puts them at ease. This day holds the key to the success of the entire operation, but an early morning mist delays takeoff. Behind the jovial smiles, there is tension in the air. While Barney completes his pre-flight checks, filmmaker Kalunga Lima makes sure this historic flight is covered from every possible angle. Eventually the mist clears. The capture team hastens to find the sable bull. Guided by the radio signal, the animal is quickly darted. Now familiar with the routine, their precious cargo is ready for flight in minutes. With the military precision that he is known for, Barney eases the heavy load into the air. The very first giant sable bull ever to be captured begins his historic journey on a mission to save his species. Meanwhile, in Kunga Palanka, news arrives that Pedro is on his way. The bright yellow machine with a sable hanging below is a strange sight. Excitement reaches a feverish pitch.
Vai salvar a primeira vez. Essa vaca
While the bull is made comfortable and readied for the 100-kilometer journey to Kangandala, Peter keeps his precious cargo under close surveillance. He knows they are pushing the animal to the edge. Should the tranquilizers wear out in mid-flight, the consequences would be disastrous.
That this is the most active conservation project in the entire country. And I would hope it might inspire other projects in other national parks that are lying fallow at this point. So that's the way I feel about this. Pedro is a hero for having taken this on himself and having developed it and all the support that's come. And we hope now that the Angolan people are going to come back and with great enthusiasm. This is a national animal. It has to be preserved at all costs.
Okay, Tati.
Everything okay?
Yeah, it looks like.
Pedro's dream has become reality. The 9 pure females seem totally at ease with the new alpha male of their clan.
The females are not going to attack this animal. They're going to be submissive. And he's already, even though he's not out of the drum,
He's already shot with the tail out. That's a dominance display, territory behavior.
During the week that follows, 7 more males are captured in the Luandu Reserve, collared and then released. The triumphant culmination of Pedro's 7-year quest to save the giant sable antelope has already surpassed even his own wildest expectations.
Eu não sei como é que nós, geração, poderíamos explicar aos nossos filhos que após a guerra, durante a paz, nós deixámos que as palancas desaparecessem. Eu penso que isso é inconcebível, portanto nós não é uma pena, isso seria um crime.
Faltava de facto o virar da página, que era o nascimento da cria, que é a prova de que realmente estávamos no caminho certo e que a reprodução era possível e que ainda havia futuro para estas palancas.
It is the project's profound hope that public interest in the ongoing efforts to safeguard the future of the giant sable can help reawaken concern for Angola's protected areas, so that this small breeding herd will be given the protection it requires, and that one day we will all once again be able to admire these magnificent creatures grazing in the open anyaras of central Angola.